Hi, everybody. Rad Mom here. Welcome back to part 2 of Anti-Feminism with Tammy Peterson.
Right? So, anyways,
We met her and her guest Janice Fiamengo on Wednesday, and now they're back because these two ladies went on for quite some time, and there's a whole lot of material here, but this one's choice, okay? We're a few minutes in here, so they're starting to say how they really feel about stuff.
What has tended to happen for a lot of women is that they have been interested in a career, or at least been interested in a life outside of their homes, and have been, I think, often surprised by the stresses and boredoms and tensions and unhappiness that work outside of the home often involves.
Listen to her piss all over the idea of seeking stimulation in the wider world like an adult. Listen to her piss all over her own life choices. Yeah, life outside the home is just life. No more an enchanted journey than motherhood, which can also be stressful, boring, tense, and unhappy. But you're not going to mention that bit, I guess, right? But we're just being practical here. We're just being practical. We're just talking common sense. We're just talking aw shucks common sense.
But rather than recognizing that that is just a thorny fact of life, many feminists and women in general influenced by feminism have seen that as something that is being denied to women specifically because they're women, or imposed on women specifically because they're women.
Having to work and mother is something that is particular to women's situation. And I, for one, would love to have a long conversation about what exactly that looks like and what exactly that means to be both a mother and a member of society. But I am just one woman, and for two ladies who claim to be so concerned about it, all I see you doing is complaining about anyone who tries.
And have said, we are owed something to fix this, whether it is state mandated and state paid for daycare so that, somebody else can look after my children. Of course, that creates all sorts of problems and, emotional stresses, etc. Or that the workplace should change to accommodate women's particular circumstances, which also creates its own set of problems and expectations, and women feeling that they are judged as less professional because they have certain home responsibilities.
A lot of us might have a lot better social networks if not for like 100+ years of generational trauma, the cumulative effect of which has turned a lot of older people into somebody who is very hard to deal with, who tend to be selfish and demanding and don't seem to comprehend the idea of limited resources.
Like, there are just so many problems that arise out of that assertion that women should be able to have both.
It's a question of shifting focus. You used to spend most of your time on yourself, and now you're going to spend most of it on somebody else for a while to give them a good start in life. You will be amazed at how quickly they are off to school, and you get some breathing room. A little while after that, they're off at a sleepover, before you only hear from them when they need something for about 5 years. And then they look at you and say, I'm a grown-up, right? And you say, yes. And they ask, well, how do I do that? And if you haven't learned to like having them around by then, don't worry, they'll be gone soon. Y'all talk like motherhood is a chain gang, the corner where bad girls go to think about what we've done. And you think all of us should be there because the closest thing to good a girl can be is serving men. Well, the way I see it, the only people in the world are mothers and their children, no matter how old we may get. Motherhood is a lifetime appointment, but it is not a life sentence.
And rather than recognizing that as just a fact of the matter, that has continued as one of the major complaints of feminist ideology. This is something that the state, or that men in particular, owe to fix, owe women to fix it.
No, because men are allowed to have both, right? You're expected to provide him with children and a home and all that stuff, while he goes off and fucks around in the world and does whatever he wants. Dare I say it, if nature had actually intended that way, we would be like born naturally lobotomized or some shit, which many people actually try to argue along those lines, which almost tells you everything you need to know.
And it's a very difficult problem to fix.
It is a very difficult problem to fix, but I submit that we might even be able to fix it ourselves if we could get a handle on this generational trauma that threatens to turn all of us into discrete, atomized little bubbles of our own making, isolated from all the other people in our day-to-day lives.
We were in Hungary and we spoke to the president of Hungary, who was in parliament for a number of years. And she was in charge of family policy in the government. And they have, they've improved the rate of marriage. They've improved the fertility rate some over the last 10 years. I think it's gone from 1.25 children to 1.57.
Okay, I'm confused now. I thought that using policy to change the behavior of society was a bad thing.
That revolutionary spirit, that utopianism, that has a deep role in a great deal of feminist ideology that was developed at that time and later. The idea that we can change human nature by changing our society.
So it's possible that we haven't found the right policies yet to help with that.
It's possible that we haven't found the right policies yet to nudge people in the directions you want them to go.
But it's bigger than it's man's fault, right? It's a bigger problem than that. It's like having the inequality be due to capitalism when inequality is due to a principle of inequality that holds true for, the amount of blood in your blood vessels is a few blood vessels have all the blood and a few rivers have all the water and a few stars have all the mass. And so it's a very long natural law that isn't due to capitalism. And so
see what I'm saying? She's just gone on this amazing little philosophical tangent. She sounds exactly like him.
Women and this natural duty and gift of having children is much, much bigger than a societal problem. It's so complex because it's a natural law that you become pregnant and that you want children.
It's natural to want a family, but not natural to want to be recognized for anything else you bring to the table, anything else you are as a person. If, as a woman, you have a personality, there is something wrong with you. This is why we need feminism, to rally ourselves and say, no, we are human beings. And our potential birthing capacity does not rob us of all that entails. As unfair as I know many men feel that is. If they are human, then we are superhuman. And their hierarchy-addled minds just can't seem to come to terms with that.
And that you have this need inside you to have children.
Not all men want to be fathers. A lot of men don't want to be fathers. And nobody seems to have a problem with that.
And to blame that on men who are really sharing the boat with us is superficial, to say the least. It's superficial analysis, right? So, anyways.
Is it superficial to expect your husband to help you have a life? To help raise your children? But there did. There used to be familial networks of women do help with things like that. Whereas I know I and many other women around my age have painful relationships with our mothers and aunties if we have them. This is one aspect of the generational divide that doesn't get talked about much. And it's something I'm ready to dig into. Because, yeah, most of the analysis around this perhaps most thorny of subjects, how to be a good mother, is superficial. We're not supposed to figure this stuff out. We're just supposed to man up and get on with it and not let our womanness show. One hill I will plant my flag on is that life is weird. And it is supremely arrogant to think you've got it all figured out for everybody.
It's superficial analysis, right? So, anyways.
So, thank you so much for joining me out here in the garden to take on some of the anti-feminist rhetoric directly. It feels so good. I'm going to have to do this again and come back at the top of the hour for the live stream and discussion where we always keep it lively. And next Monday at 11 with a new video. All right, I'll see you then. Okay, thanks. Bye.